You excited for brown rice stir fry, Eve? He said yes. I'm gonna cook for my family this week using only this book.
Cheers.
Are they good? We'll find out. Stick around to see what we think.
It's good. It's my kind of dinner.
It's really simple. A for effort, right?
Why is it sweet? Ooh.
One tastes good and one tastes bad.
Ew.
Something that I don't like in it.
Kind of weirdly good.
I feel like this cookbook's cursed for me. I don't know what it is about this cookbook and me. So these ones are not kid approved. Greetings and welcome to or welcome back to PB with Jay. Here on the channel, we focus on all things plant-based goodness, and today we are gonna do a deep dive into Plant-Powered Families by Dreena, Burton. Ever since we've been doing the cookbook reviews, which has been a while now, I have gotten requests to do a book by Dreena Burton, so I'm excited to finally do one. I don't know if this is the best dive into her recipes, because I think this is her doing kind of a toned down version of her recipes. So I definitely want to do another book by her in the future. If you got a specific one, let me know in the comments down below and I'll see if I can't get my hands on it. So what's interesting about this one is it's over 100 kid-tested whole food vegan recipe. So because of that, I actually got my kids to pick everything that we are going to eat in this video. And I'm curious to see what they're gonna pick, because like typical kids, they don't necessarily think of eating the way adults do. A lot of times they just want snacky foods. So this could be just a totally disastrously bad idea to begin with, in which case I'm apologizing in advance to Dreena for whatever I butcher or whatever weird things my kids decide to do. Stick around until the end of this video where I let you know whether or not I think you should borrow, buy, or bypass this book altogether. Before we get into the recipes at hand, I'd like to give a quick hello to some of you who've said hello to us in the comments down below. Rory from Southwest France, Nairi from Trenent in South Lothian, Scotland. Please let me know if I got even close to pronouncing those things properly. Sylvia in Italy, who loves Woolies air fryer cookie recipe. Thanks, you must have gotten that from our new cookbook. Link here, and in the description down below. I'm gonna hold it for an extra second, so you can hit that QR code if you need to. Michaela from Sweden, Sharon from Reno, Nevada, Jody from Berkeley, California, Donna from the Banana Belt of Southwestern Ontario in Windsor, Daisy from New South Wales in Australia, Kira from California, Lisa from Winnipeg, Carol from Snug, Tasmania in Australia, Gail from Cape Town, South Africa, and Donna from, she didn't actually tell me where she's from, but I know where she's from on the internet. She's from our Mighty Network, which, if most of you know from following along, is like PB with J 2.0. There you get access to these videos early, you get a monthly live members only screening, and you get lots of other fun little perks, including, you know, test recipes I'm trying out, awesome conversations that people have with each other. I know what's really great about it is that for people that are new to this way of eating and need kind of a place to have community, it's a good spot for that, so consider checking it out. And now, to the recipes. So, for our first recipe in this new book, we are going to do the ultimate teriyaki stir fry. I picked this because it looks super easy and I am testing out a new camera that I'm incorporating into the channel here. Hi everyone, you're looking at my new camera. I mean, you're looking at me on the new camera. Hi, how's it look? So the one extra step we have to do with this recipe is we have to make a marinated tofu, which is not that complicated. Basically, we're going to do it really, really quickly and then put it in the oven and let it cook. I'm actually, by the looks of it, it tells you to, let me just go to the page. Pat it gently. It doesn't even need us to press it. It just wants us to remove the excess moisture. It doesn't even have us cutting it up. I'm gonna cut it up first, just so that the marinade gets in more of it. But basically, it's just like a balsamic vinegar with tamari and a little bit of maple syrup. And then while we're baking it, We're going to make the sauce by just throwing it all into a immersion blender. I'm probably going to use our Magic Bullet. It's what I like for this kind of thing. And then it's just doing a stir fry. So we're gonna cut up all of our vegetables. Here she has us using a sliced carrot, some zucchini, or green beans, some broccoli, pepper. So we're gonna water saute our vegetables. I like that she even just suggests you water saute. There's no oil. I believe she is whole food plant-based as well. Basically, we're just going to saute some vegetables and then add in the sauce and the tofu. Now the one thing it doesn't have in here is any noodles. So what we're going to do is look and see if we can't find something here in the cupboard that'll work. Otherwise, I'm gonna be making some brown rice.
10 seconds later.
Think this is gonna be a brown rice stir fry. You excited for brown rice stir fry, Eve? He said yes. That's what means. This is really, really simple. So really what this is gonna come down to is how good is the sauce. So we're just gonna cook the rice in the Instant Pot the way I normally do it, which is basically, I'm gonna do 2 cups of rice, a little over 2 1/4 cups of water, and then I just put it on the rice setting. So I'm actually just gonna air fry this stuff because why not? Hi Rufus, you wanna see the tofu? Look at it.
Oh yeah.
That's good. I don't usually do a quick marinade like that, so that's nice to know it's possible. I'm actually just gonna steal a little piece. Ooh, it's good flavor. So for the air fryer, I probably only did it for 15 minutes. Depending on your air fryer, adjust the time accordingly. Different air fryers cook different speeds. This one we have the Typher Dome air fryer. Cooks 30% faster than the average air fryer, allegedly. We are just gonna let this come to a boil, the sauce, so it can thicken, so that arrowroot can mix in. This is looking good. Ooh. This is a pretty stir fry.
I'm so hungry.
I want to get some cashews out and like throw them in the air fryer for a minute or two.
Those are peanuts or cashews?
Cashews. Oh, look at that. You got cashews. Good girl.
Oh my gosh.
I'm going to keep you.
I should hope so. After 20 years.
20 years? It hasn't been 20 years, has it?
I've known you since since 2004. No, 2005.
The math.
It'll be 20 years in March.
We were babies when we met.
Why does that look so pale?
Because it's shot in a LUT. Sorry, because it's shot in something called log. I'm going to color correct it later. This whole channel's getting an overhaul.
Why would you want to do that?
Because we're experimenting.
But wouldn't you want the color to be good so you don't have to spend the time to color correct it?
All right, here's the lesson for all of you that I'll teach to Willie at the same time. So when you shoot something normally in a camera, the camera is baking in a look for you. But if you shoot it in what we call a log format, it creates a very base. I'm gonna turn the color correction off right now so you see what it looks like when we're shooting it. And then but this gives you the most latitude to be able to correct the image. So you got to make it the color you want to be instead of the color that the camera decides it could be.
I want to be purple. Please?
There you go. Willie's purple now. What do you think of that?
Thanks.
Fun, right? How's dinner?
It's good. It's my kind of dinner. It's pale.
Wow, you
But
moved.
I'm actually purple now.
What?
Annie's playing with the new camera. What do you think of the dinner, Annie? With your mouth not full of food.
It's great.
What makes it great?
The sauce. I think a B or an A.
All right. Ephraim texted me his feedback. This is new for the channel. Because he had to go to the bathroom. He says, should we do it in an Ephraim impression?
Uh-huh.
Here, you be Ephraim.
I give it a B because it's a little salty. Too salty.
It's bland.
That's your best Ephraim, huh? She had us do a quick marinade on the tofu. It's really simple.
I would like mushrooms in it.
Yeah. The flavor, I could amp up the sauce. More ginger. It just tastes like a good basic sauce. So for kids, maybe like kids that aren't used to eating stir fries, this might be a good entry point, but the sauce just needs more something.
I like it.
I give it a B. I wouldn't have this again.
What? You're not gonna have this again?
It's a stir. I mean, we can make better stir fries. I'm not cuckoo. I wouldn't make this recipe again. I will have a million more stir fries in my life. But this one, I don't know.
I don't know. I like it.
It's fine.
A.
I think it's just fine. It's bland. That's how you do Ephraim.
You're bland.
How dare you?
No.
Next up, we are going to be making these nicer Crispy Squares. Wait, come on. They're just Rice Krispie Squares, right? We know how this is working. So, I mean, Rice Krispie Squares are like the easiest thing in the world to make, right? When I was a kid, my mom would basically just melt butter and marshmallows together and then throw some Rice Krispies in there, and then that was it. Done. But obviously, we don't want the marshmallows because they've got things like gelatin in it, which is horse bones, for those that are not aware. And obviously, butter is butter. So we are going to healthify that. But she's already done so. So what she's using here is macadamia nut butter, which I don't know where the heck you get that from. Good for you, Dreena, for being able to find that stuff. Couldn't find it anywhere and didn't feel like ordering it online for this particular recipe. But what's great is she has a lot of other options in here, including coconut butter, which again, I could not find anywhere. But she does have suggestions for just using a nut butter. So I'm actually just gonna use tahini, because we've got lots of tahini and the tahini we have is a nice neutral flavor. So what we're going to do is we're going to combine our tahini with some, I'm gonna use not the coconut sugar she has suggested here, because she also says you could just use brown rice syrup instead. I'm going to use maple syrup because that's what we have. We're gonna mix that in with some agar powder. I think that's gonna help it stick together, but I don't even think you need that. I think you could probably just get away with the nut butter and the sugar. I think that's gonna help it stick together fine, but we have agar powder, so we're gonna use it. We're gonna add some sea salt and a little bit of vanilla extract, and then we're gonna stir that as the mixture heats up until the agar powder is fully dissolved. And then we're gonna remove from the heat and stir in the cereal, making sure it is fully combined. And then we're just gonna press that into a pan and then cool it and cut it into squares. So we're putting these in the fridge now for, I don't know, a couple hours just to chill, and then I'm gonna cut them up later on and we'll see what everyone thinks. Easiest thing, Rice Krispie Squares are the easiest thing ever. So let's see what my kids think of this recipe, because they've definitely had like your standard Rice Krispie Squares, because they sell those as treats now. I always thought that was so strange when they started selling those in grocery stores in like pre-packaged wraps, because I just remember my mom whipping them up like basically in her sleep. So it felt like just like, kind of like the modern version of those Uncrustable sandwiches. Just like, where are we as a society where we can't make our own peanut butter and jam sandwiches? No shade to those who buy Uncrustables for their kids. I get it, life is hard and challenging. But also that's the kind of thing you can train your own kid to make. Just throwing it out there. I'll probably have one with Ephraim as an after-school snack, but then I gotta run around with Wooly and Annie later on tonight, so we'll get their feedback on the road.
Just like that. Ew! Why is it like tahini?
Sorry, it calls for macadamia and nut butter, but...
Bad.
So an F?
Yeah. Ugh.
It's not like spit out your mouth bad though. This is not a fair review because even though she says you can use something like tahini, I think what makes her recipe work probably is that macadamia nut butter. I don't know where you get that. So there's that.
Can you just make it yourself?
I would, macadamia nut butter? Yeah, you can make it yourself. Macadamia nuts are expensive. I'm gonna give this like a B. It's not bad. If I was just gonna do this and not have this butter she's talking about, I'd probably just go with like a peanut butter and almond butter. But the rest of it works. I think it's just the tahini flavor. You don't like it though?
3, right?
You're gonna eat it?
No.
Then why would we have 3?
Just in case you want to.
Okay.
No.
It tastes too much like tahini.
Yeah, told you.
If you use another nut butter, it will be better.
Yeah.
Is there any actual marshmallow in here? It's a Rice Krispie. Like what? It's like bitter. It's okay. But it's sweet and like it's really bitter. That's all I'm gonna say. It's like it's burnt somehow, but it's not. B- because I ate all of it.
So for tonight's dinner, we're going to be doing something a little bit different because we're going to be doing like 3 different recipes for one meal. Again, the kids picked all of the recipes in this book, and they picked like typical kids do. They want like sauces, they want bitey things. So they picked out these potatoes. Okay.
Potatoes!
And he's very excited about potatoes. This is the home fry recipe. That's going to be the base of our meal. And then the kids also asked for this home-style gravy sauce. And you also asked for this mild cheesy dip. So I'm gonna make kind of a poutine for this meal was my thought. The problem with this dish, as you might be guessing, if you are familiar with the way I cook, is that it doesn't have a significant source of protein and there's not a ton of vegetables in here. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna check out the freezer and see what I've got for frozen vegetables. And then I'm just gonna add those to the side, kind of like a mushy pea that you would do if you were having like fish and chips. And for protein, I just made some aquafaba, so I have a bunch of chickpeas in the fridge. I'm gonna smash them up and just kind of season them just with like salt and pepper. And I'm gonna air fry them just to make like kind of crumbly little chickpea things. And I don't know, maybe it won't be great, but so that's the idea. It's gonna make kind of like a potato poutine. Did I say poutine earlier? That was bad Canadian of me. Poutine.
It's poutine.
You say it poutine, Annie.
It's poutine.
It's not poutine. I'm not having this fight with a child.
Poutine.
It's not poutine.
Poutine.
So for not the first recipe, which is the home fries, but for the mild cheesy dip, it's called, you need a cooked potato. So I already skinned the potato and I just steamed it in the Instant Pot for 10 minutes. Here's the first thing that's confusing about this recipe. It says you bake the potatoes for 55 to 70 minutes. Dreena, what is wrong with your oven that it takes you 70 minutes to cook like cut up potatoes? That's the kind of length it should take to make like a baked potato. So we're gonna preheat the oven at 400 degrees Fahrenheit. And then we're gonna cut up our potatoes into wedges. And then you sprinkle them just with nooch and some finely chopped fresh rosemary, which I think we still have some fresh rosemary. And if we don't, I'll use dry and that's fine too. So I think the cheese sauce takes a little bit longer, so let's start with that. We're going to add all the ingredients to a blender and puree until smooth. Well, that's easy. Transfer to a medium saucepan and heat over low for 5 to 8 minutes, stirring often until mixture starts to bubble and thicken. Avoid thickening the sauce over a high heat because it can scorch. Add extra salt, lemon juice to taste. And 1 to 2 tablespoons of non-dairy milk to thin if desired. I realized that I forgot to put the tahini in the cheese sauce, so I just put it into the pot and stirred it around. It's a liquid, it'll be fine, it'll mix together nicely. Stirring often until it slowly bubbles and thickens. It's gonna be stirring often while I do 5 other things. The kitchen is an utter mess right now. Here's what it looks like. You often don't get to see the behind the mess. This is all the mess. Wooly would be absolutely horrified if she knows that I showed this to you. So don't tell her I showed you our messy, messy kitchen. This is what it looks like when we're making our videos sometimes. Homestyle gravy. With a handheld blender or a standard blender, blend together the nooch, tahini, arrowroot powder, tomato paste, rosemary, garlic, water, tamari, vinegar, molasses, and maple syrup. Molasses and maple syrup? Okay. You can also whisk the ingredients in a saucepan if you want. Place the mixture in a pot over medium-high heat and bring to a boil, stirring as needed. Once it starts to boil, turn down the heat and let it simmer gently for 2 to 3 minutes until thickened. Add more vinegar to taste and thin with water if desired. Okay, It's actually interesting because the two different sauces that we're using, the cheese sauce and the gravy, both have a lot of the same ingredients. And I don't know if that's gonna be a bad thing or a good thing. There's enough different ones in there, but it also just shows you how versatile a lot of these ingredients are when you're making recipes, right? One's a cheese sauce, one's a gravy. Are they good? We'll find out. So these chickpeas are actually pretty much perfect. They've got a nice little crisp to them. And that's nice. I'm just gonna put them back inside the air fryer and just let them stay warm. And then maybe a few minutes before I serve, I'll put them back on. Potatoes were done in like 35 minutes, so I'm just keeping them warm in the oven. But yeah, I don't know what that cooking time was all about. So I will try to get my family to rate all of these separate elements individually. That might be a bit complicated to do with this kind of a meal. A for effort, right? All right, I'm gonna try this gravy on its own because I don't know if I'm gonna be able to taste the difference with everything all together.
Wait, this is gravy and that's cheese?
That's cheese, that's gravy.
Oh.
They look kind of the same.
Well, this one looks more like gravy because it's brown. And
Yeah, it didn't turn into it. The picture is not accurate.
Well, or it's just it turned out different.
It's kind of gonna be hard to like taste them
I'm gonna put
separately.
them in two separate spots.
What's going on over here?
And mix them after I taste
Wait, what's
them.
going on with your fingers?
10.
Why did you count to 10?
Guess we'll never know.
All right, Evie's gonna try the gravy.
Why is it sweet? I like ours better. Let's try the cheese.
I like that one.
Ooh. The cheese is
like
kind of
the-
nice. Is there potato in the cheese?
Yeah.
I like our gravy and cheese sauce better. But
What would you,
they're still pretty good. Gravy's weird.
what would you give the gravy?
I'll give the gravy like a C. I'll still have it. And I'll give the cheese sauce like a B minus.
All right. I thought the cheese sauce was quite good.
Yeah, I like the cheese. The gravy I am not fond of. It's like a weird. It's very strong onion flavor.
I give the cheese sauce like an A. It's solid. Like it's comparable to ours. I prefer ours though. But
I really don't like the gravy one.
it's like sweet, eh?
But it tastes like really strongly onion.
Yeah.
But not in a nice onion way.
Which is funny. There's no onion in the
So what
mushroom
is that?
one.
Is it
The
garlic?
Not
There's
in the flavor.
garlic. There's
There's something that I don't like in it.
tahini.
No.
The funny thing is the two sauces are close together in their ingredients.
One tastes good and one tastes bad. Like, I would never eat that sauce again. I don't even want it on my dinner.
I would give the cheese is like an A for me. It's pretty bad, that gravy. I don't like it at all.
That one's an F. And the other one's an A.
No way.
Ew.
Oh, she's going back.
So bad.
Okay. So what do you rate them both?
And obviously.
Is an F all around?
Yeah.
That's not a shock. Okay, this was mostly a fail. And the French fries, we didn't rate them because I actually forgot to put on the stuff, which was really just saying to sprinkle some nooch on there and some salt and pepper. Those probably would have been fine. So these ones are not kid approved, but our cheese sauce and our gravy are.
The fries are. No, they're
The
not.
fries are.
I'm more of a kid than he is.
Oh, Annie doesn't approve of what? Our cheese sauce?
And the gravy.
And the gravy.
You know I don't like it. It has mushrooms in it.
It's true. Annie has problems with mushrooms. Ify likes them both.
Deep dish.
Apparently mushrooms are just gross. Because they're not. They're delicious. They're not. I'm gonna make Derek Sarno come over here and teach you how to like mushrooms.
Who?
Derek Sarno.
I'd love to see him try.
I'm calling him up. He's gonna come over and he's gonna make you like mushrooms. Derek, let's go. Tonight for dinner, I'm gonna make this tofu and cashew ginger sauce, which looks really, really simple. Basically, you make all the sauce in a blender. Put in everything except for the water here. Blend it up, then add the water and blend again. Pour a little of the mixture into your baking dish. Slice the tofu into thick squares. Lay on the bottom of the baking dish and pour the rest of the sauce over evenly. Cover aluminum foil and bake for 15 to 17 minutes. Remove foil, stir through, bake again for 7 minutes, uncovered, until the sauce is thickened. Do not overbake or the sauce will be too thick. That's that. And then she says you serve it with whatever you want to. So I'm gonna make some brown rice in the Instant Pot. And then for vegetables, I got some snap peas. So I think I'll just get some whatever vegetables are in the fridge still. I think I have a pepper in there. I'll see what we got. And then I'll just kind of stir fry a couple of vegetables up. This is really simple. I bet you we can make this in the time it takes to cook that tofu, which is great because I'm also making a dessert tonight, which you'll find out about after this one. This looks super watery when it came out. The sauce became too thick until the sauce is thickened. So I'm putting it back in for another 5 minutes because it's just watery still. It looks like it hasn't cooked at all. I feel like this cookbook's cursed for me. I don't know what it is about this cookbook and me.
I like that the sauce goes into the rice. So it's kind of nice that it's running because then it really...
I just expected to get thicker because of the way it warned you not to overcook it.
It's good. It's like a nice peanut gingery sauce.
Again, it's simple. I know this is meant to be like kid friendly and whatnot, so it's very simple. Like I'd put a little bit of heat in here. It's fine. Like
I like it. I give it an A.
So, look, it's like boing, 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 boing.
don't get it on my lens.
But I didn't get it on your lens. Jeez, calm down.
But it does have like a follow focus, so you can. What do you think, Danny? Is this kid approved?
I think it's scrumptious.
But what do you give it then?
I don't know, like a B+.
Whoa. Why is it doing that?
It follows you around.
Stop! Why? Tofu's like really not cooked.
Yeah, but you kind of like that sometimes, don't you?
Yeah, I guess. I like it like crispy on the outside and then like uncooked on the inside.
Yeah, this one's just baked, so it's never gonna get crispy.
Yeah.
Yeah. But what do you think flavor-wise?
I think it's good. I'll give it like a 8.
An A? Nice. All right, so this is what Ify sees. For dessert tonight, I'm gonna make this vanilla bean almond butter fudge. Similar to the other dessert recipe that I botched, this one calls for coconut butter. Although Wooly did some sleuthing online, and Minimalist Baker had a coconut butter recipe, which is basically just taking 5 cups of unsweetened coconut and whirring it up in your food processor until it turns into a butter. I don't want to make that much, and I don't think it would work if you only put a half a cup in, because I think you need the volume to break it down. So I'm hoping I can just actually put all the ingredients for this into the food processor and it'll break it down for me if I just leave it on long enough. The only thing we're swapping out is the brown rice syrup is going to become maple syrup, and I don't have vanilla bean powder. I know the review we did for Chef Age's book called for it too. I just haven't ordered it because you can't order every single ingredient that is in every single cookbook. So we're gonna see how that is with vanilla extract, and I'm going to double the vanilla extract just to give it extra vanilla flavor. But this is simple. You basically just, once you're done processing it, you put it into a loaf dish and stick it in the fridge until it's firm. Wooly's currently trying to save this disaster that I've made of this. I didn't realize the instructions say to melt it down in a double boiler. I don't know, part of me thinks I should just use aquafaba. But then you're not gonna get the fat that the coconut butter asks for. Yeah, I don't know. Anyway, Wooly's gonna try to do something of this. We'll let you know what we think of whatever we make of it. We're not gonna review it for this book. I mean, we'll tell you what we think. We'll give it marks, but I just feel really frustrated with myself. I feel like I've let Dreena down for this cookbook because I've just made so many mistakes, not having the right ingredients. I apologize to all of those who have asked for this recipe book for us to do. Doing my best over here.
Well, it's something, folks. So, we didn't have coconut butter, and I read online that you could make it, but we didn't have enough coconut to make a whole batch. So we thought maybe if we just blended it with all the ingredients in the food processor, it would eventually break down if we blended it long enough. But that didn't work. So we put it in the double boiler and heated it up. The oils came out of the nut butter. That was exciting. And then I put it back in the food processor and blended it some more, and that still Didn't really work. So I pressed it into the pan and it's in the fridge cooling and we're gonna see how it tastes when we're done. But that being said, we would like to try making coconut butter and then trying this recipe again because it does look really delicious. Cheers.
No coffee.
It's more like a toffee. I think the flavor's good. What does this remind me of?
Your mom.
My mom died today.
We mean
So-
like today, quite a few years ago, by the way.
Like,
80 years ago.
not 80 years ago. When I was 16.
28.
28 years ago. Wow.
R.I.P. Grandma Kathy.
Maybe that's why I'm off
Flood
today.
the comments with R.I.P. Grandma Kathy.
Aw, she would have loved you.
Flood it. Flood it. Flood it with long live Grandma Kathy. Which would be LLGC.
LLGC? Hashtag
With a
LL.
heart.
Okay. This is good. Like, I don't know if we should rate this because we changed it or it just didn't turn out, but I'd give this like an A. Like, it's got an interesting little flavor. Did you like it?
Piece? Why didn't you just finish mine? I don't
No, I just finished it. Did you like it?
know.
No? You want to try a taste, Mommy?
You dropped something, Mom's gonna eat it.
It's very sticky.
It's a toffee.
That's good.
It's a toffee.
Maybe.
Kind of weirdly good.
Yeah, right?
Weird.
What do you give it?
It's really salty though.
Yeah. Let's see. So what did we think of plant-powered families? As you saw, I went on a real journey with this book. Usually I can swap out things and they don't have like such disastrous effects. I'd like to think that I'm at least accountable when I do that. So I'm not blaming the cookbook author, I'm blaming myself. So this book, even though it's already whole foods, I didn't have to do a lot of the swaps. Some of the ingredients, mostly like the coconut butter and whatnot, are not things that I think are necessarily readily available anywhere. I'm in Toronto and I've never seen coconut butter in a store. So maybe that's just my own lack of looking around and whatnot. So there is that to consider. I gotta grade this on a bit of a curve overall because I don't think me or my family are the intended audience for this book. I think this book is for people who are pickier eaters, who need, kind of toned down flavored meals, which is why I definitely want to do another one of Dreena's books. So I think if you're in that camp and you have really, really picky kid eaters and you're just desperately looking for recipes, this is definitely a borrow, if not maybe even a buy for you. So, if that's the case, we have a link in the description down below. Pick it up for there. Otherwise, pick it up from your library and maybe take it for a test run like we did with your kids. Let them pick the recipes. That's the most important ingredient for success with getting your kids to eat different food, is letting them have some say in it. And they're much more likely to go along with it than if you just present them with something. Even better, get them to cook with you. That's something I'd love to see more of. Just kids in the kitchen. I gotta go.
Much, much, much later.
Sorry about that, super important call. So what I was just basically saying is cook with your kids. I think if you are, older or more adventurous in the kitchen, you like bolder flavors, this book's probably a bypass for you. Unless you're a big fan of Dreena's and you just want to, check out all of her books, then maybe you want to check out this one too. But please let me know which of Dreena's books we should focus on next, because I definitely want to revisit and give her a better shot, because I know she's much loved in this community, and I don't think this video or this review gave her justice. I'm just throwing that out there, just based on what I assume of my own shortcomings and the shortcomings of what happened with this book. So there's that. If you enjoyed this video, please hit that like button, and so YouTube knows to share it with other people. Subscribe, obviously, if you want more videos like this, and stick around because YouTube wants you to watch this video next. I'm not even sure which one it is. Maybe it's one of our really, really old ones. Some of you have watched so many of our new videos that YouTube's now recommending our older ones. And they're weird sometimes.